Well, this is going to be my first YouTube upload in some years. My name is Aaron, and I'm going to be ranking the songs that were released between Drake and Kendrick with their most recent rap feud. I'm going to include songs that are just released by Kendrick and Drake. So I have here Rick Ross's Champagne Moments and 7 Minute Drill by J. Cole, but I'm going to put those to the side and focus on just what Kendrick and Drake have released. This is going to take into account a couple of things. I'm going to take into account number one, just the quality of the song as a song, as well as contextually how I received the song during the time that it was dropped, because that also massively impacts where I would put the song on this tier list. So we're just going to get right into it. Starting off with Like That, it is a great opener to all of this. It's going to be in the A tier. For the most part, the song is not a beef song. It is just mostly Future going off on verses that, God, I don't even remember, it sounded like misogyny. But Kendrick's verse that was a shot at Drake and J. Cole was a really solid jab. It was a nice invitation for them to come and join the beef. So I really liked it. Some of the lines are super memorable. We're talking about when he mentioned first person shooter. That's when I was like, oh, well, this is going to be aimed at Drake. The feature was also not expected. I thought this was just going to be a Future and Metro Boomin project. And once we got into his verse, it was also like a huge surprise. I was like, oh, shit. I guess Kendrick's on this song. And he was coming in like super hot. Like the, hey, let's get it, bro, was... that was very stuck in my head for some time. So as far as the song goes, a really good song as far as an opener to the sequence of events that have happened over the past several weeks. Also, a really good opener. So A tier, not like a super hard diss, but it is a great song. And for the time that it was released, it was also stirring up conversation about, hey, is Drake going to respond anytime soon? Hey, Drake may not address it. Drake doesn't have to address it. So there was some room for this song to breathe during the time that it was released. So great song, A tier. Push-Ups. I like the instrumental on this song a lot. I think the piano is very cold. I remember when the Twitter leaks came out, there was another instrumental for this song, and it sounded a lot worse. I'm really glad that they chose this beat. As far as Drake's flows go, it's a really solid song on his end. It's a B tier song for me. I don't like it as much as Like That, but as far as a response to Kendrick, solid, but I find some of it a little bit cheesy. Like at the time he was calling him short, which I thought was a little bit odd. And then he talks about the splits, and the splits I was like, okay, so he's getting at something with Kendrick, though I didn't think that Kendrick really cared. I was thinking maybe the public might. I don't know. It's not like I care too much about splits, but it did give some. It was a topic for Drake to talk about that might not go in Kendrick's favor. So that, and then at the time that it released, I didn't really think too much about the Whitney line, but I should have remembered that, hey, when he was in a feud with Pusha T, that was what set off Pusha to release the story of Added On, and the rest was history. So as far as the song goes, it's a B tier song, solid song. Great replay value, and at the time that it was released, it got some time for people to have conversation about, oh, Drake actually has a solid response, and Kendrick's gonna have to really come back with something that's worth responding to from Drake. And then we had Tailor Made Freestyle, very controversial song. I understand that a lot of people don't really like the use of AI, and I thought it was also really cheesy. I thought it's I thought it was a little bit funny at the time it came out. I really liked the instrumental. Actually, I liked the instrumental more than I liked it. I liked Push-Ups. That alone is enough for Tailor Made to be carried out of the F and D tier, but the AI is not allowing it be past C tier for me. The AI felt tacky, especially like you can tell that this isn't how Tupac or Snoop flow. It's not how they rap. You can hear that it's Drake through the AI filter. You can hear that it's completely Drake. The taunting, the way that he was warming up the audience, or what's the word for it? I don't like to use the word warming up, but he was preempting his audience, or the audience, to expect Kendrick to take the angle of him liking young girls. Just also felt like a weird one. It's just like you're giving him the play. I mean, it's not like he was giving him the playbook, but you trying to soften the blow by having Tupac talk about Drake likes young girls as an allegation isn't really effective. Like, that's a legitimate thing to go after Drake for. So as far as a diss goes, it felt more like a preparation. And then I did like Drake's last verse, though, like openly calling for Kendrick to be like, hey, when are you gonna drop? You're in your New York apartment right now. You're like nervous. Obviously that didn't age really well, but at the time, it made Kendrick fans go a little bit nutty. It's just like, oh, like, Kendrick doesn't even have to respond to this. Or like the Kendrick fans were like, they were struggling during this time because there was 10 days of silence. But I also bet that Drake was probably nervous too. He was like, I think the last line, he's like, by the time you drop, I'm out on the loose or something. And clearly not, because Kendrick then followed that up with Euphoria. And guys, Euphoria, I love that song. I love this song. As a song, I love it. As a diss, there's so many funny lines in here. The way that he sits, the opening is like, you're being sat down for story time. It did not feel like a diss initially. It felt a little bit strange when I was listening to it. It's just like, why is this going to be a little bit slow? I was like thinking, are we in for like a jazzy, like, when I saw it was 6.5 minutes, I was like, how long are we going to be listening to this for? And it was just the first minute. But the inflections that Kendrick has for this song, it's there's just this way that he performs on Euphoria that lines stick. Like the way that he goes on the I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. It's so memeable. I mean, there's been a whole subgenre of TikToks that have been spun off on this. Anyway, I'm gonna put it in the S tier. God, like there were so many things that made me laugh. Like I even hate the way you say the N-word was also really funny. It was such a fun song. Like the second beat, the third beat, while not the most creative instrumentals, it really allows Kendrick to shine. There's so much pen game on it. There's so many lines to reference, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. S tier. Now 3 days later, we're into 616 in LA. This one, did feel like a throwaway relative to like the rest of it. I understand the point of it is this is Kendrick's tailor-made freestyle. Jack Antonoff producing the track was also a funny little tidbit to play on the tailor-made aspect of Drake's back-to-back drop. As far as the song goes, it's good. I like the instrumental. But I don't love it. I appreciate him like playing mind games with Drake. The Have you ever like let's play have you ever thought that OVO was working for me? That line like stood out to me. And then starts exposing that there is a mole in Drake's camp. As far as the song goes, it's a B tier song. It's B tier. It's good. It's good. It's obviously just going to set Kendrick up for his next move. I understand a lot of people will say that it's an underrated song. But yeah, it's going to be a B tier for me. Now we get into where things really get hot. It escalates like really quickly. So as far as this goes, this is Friday night. Ooh, Friday night. I was at my friend's concert, watching them perform, and Twitter was going nuts. I was flying my drone. I was like, why the fuck am I here? I love my friends. Okay, that's a joke, but also fuck. I wish I was there in real time as it was dropping, because it would have been crazy to experience Family Matters as a fresh new drop. As far as Family Matters goes, as far as a Drake song, it is an S tier Drake song. I think that is, I haven't heard, like, when I was thinking of like how hard does Drake need to, come onto the mic for this rap battle, I wanted something like 5 a.m. in Toronto. I wanted his, typical, time of day with a city attached to it type of flow. And he really delivered. At least I think on the first 2 beats, I thought he sounded really solid. The third, so I have mixed feelings about Family Matters. Sorry. I should say S tier as far as the first 2 instrumentals go. The third one, where he just goes into the song singing with the triplet flows, it's fine. It just felt disjointed, and it didn't feel like it fit the rest of the song personally for me. So it was the first 2/3 of the song that I really enjoyed as far as a Drake song goes. Obviously, the third part of the song is also what contained most of the allegations. And those allegations, as far as like the battle goes, would have been really hard hitting if this song had time to breathe. But it didn't. And I think because of how things happened after this song was released, I want to at least give it an A. But then also like the trying to rap like rapping like he's trying to get the slaves free line was also like really corny, and rubbed obviously a lot of people the wrong way. I thought that line was weird too. Like, here's the thing about these songs too. When we're talking about lines that stick out from both of these artists, like Kendrick's lines generally, like, they're funny, they're really memorable because of the way that he says them, whereas Drake's, it starts with Family Matters. The lines that Drake says are memorable for the wrong reasons. They're not memorable for good reasons. But I'm gonna go ahead and just put it in the B tier, higher than Push-Ups. I like the first 2/3 of it. The last third really just dropped the ball for me. So that, alongside the timing in which this song was dropped, not this song, the next song we're going to talk about, unfortunately puts it in a lower tier. I probably would have put it A tier otherwise. But yeah, the Family Matters and the context of everything is going to be a B tier song for me. Meet the Grams. Oh, it suffocated Family Matters. That's also an S tier song for me. Very creepy. I remember when I played it in the car, I was listening through it and I was wondering if I was even supposed to be listening to this song. I felt like I was listening in on like a crime scene. because of the way that it suffocated Family Matters, that alone I think is really what skyrockets the song into S tier. I also really like the concept of the song, just writing letters to his entire family, and the way that he performs this song really convinces me that Kendrick hates him. There's something about this song that makes me feel like Kendrick isn't doing this just to win a battle. It sounds corny, but it feels bigger than rap. And obviously at the time of recording this isn't over. It might just be rap, but it doesn't feel like it. And this was the song that really made me think it doesn't feel like it's just rap. The lines that stick is just like when he was telling Drake's mom, "Your son's a sick man. I think people like him should die." That was really chilling. And then towards the end, when he starts talking about how Drake lied about his surgery, you lied about your ghostwriters, you lied about your son, your daughter, and he lied about so much. It makes me feel like Kendrick really believes that Drake is not just someone who doesn't belong at the top of the rap game, but someone who just doesn't belong to this earth. It was a really strong song. Now, obviously, the one glaring flaw of this song is we're not able to find any proof as of right now that Drake is hiding a daughter, and it seems like people are doubting that claim. And obviously, if you don't have the receipts, then we're gonna assume that you're lying, right? Or we're gonna at the very least, the charitable interpretation is that Kendrick really had bad info on Drake and his potential daughter. Now, that being said, the pedo allegations, that stuff, it's like the video evidence that is out there against Drake is already more than enough for people to like believe what he's saying on here. Now, did Drake commit any legal crimes? Now, obviously, that's not an argument for is he morally if what he's doing is morally acceptable. That's not what we're getting at. But if he didn't commit any like legal crimes in terms of being with minors because of the age of consent law, then obviously Kendrick cannot get him in the court of law in that. But the allegations go beyond that. But I don't really feel like I want to try to get into that in this video. Anyway, Meet the Grams, S tier for what it's done. And, man, I'm sorry, guys, but Not Like Us is also S tier. I swear to God, I'm not trying to do this. Like, I get it. Maybe I am biased because I really do like Kendrick. But I just feel like in terms of impact and what's happening immediately right now, like Not Like Us to drop the day after Meet the Grams, and it's already this West Coast anthem that's being played in MLB stadiums, in basketball stadiums. It's a banger. It's funny. Like it's funny like in a weird way. It makes me feel like, am I supposed to laugh at this stuff? But like when he says certified lover boy, certified pedophile, like that was it's funny. And then also him dedicating a verse to responding to Drake's trying to get the slaves freed line, and then giving him a whole lesson on Atlanta rap, and then talking about how he's colonized the Atlanta sound. Now, is that comparison appropriate? I would say so. Obviously, it's not like 21 or you know, Quavo or any of the rappers that were mentioned didn't benefit from the partnership with Drake. But obviously, Drake isn't necessarily, he doesn't seem particularly interested in making sure that there's a longevity on their end, as long as he can, you know, find some success in taking the Atlanta sound from them as well. Um, so yeah, that the what else? There's like the freaky ass dude, he is 69 god. That line also just gets stuck into your head when he starts saying "oh ho." That also, there's a kid I saw on Reddit that was like, the kid barely talked. I think he had, like, was it like a condition or something? But then the, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, seeing this video on Reddit, like, people are like laughing. It's okay, but I don't know. I wouldn't put my child out like that on the internet. But then it's just like, it's like, say "oh ho," and then the kid said "oh ho." Like, it was unfortunate. It's like funny. I'm conflicted in how I laugh about that, but it's also funny. So S tier. Now, I don't have the Heart Part 6. So here's what I'm gonna do. For the final song, we're gonna just imagine that this Might Delete Later album cover is the Heart Part 6. The Heart Part 6, I don't really think I find any okay. The one redeeming quality that I find in it is that it feels more consistent as a song to me, with more focus from Drake than Family Matters did. So I will give it credit for that. But as far as his rebuttal and his response, it's just, I know that you're supposed to respond to the allegations that are made. And he did what he felt that he had to do, but it felt like just that. I feel like he didn't believe in it. It felt, it I don't know. I don't want to say it felt lazy, but it felt like he had to do it. It felt like it was a requirement for him to put this song out. So, in the imaginary Heart Part 6 album cover, this is going to be a D tier song for me. I didn't really care about it. So that's it. Also, just, it's not like you need new information to be able to have like a good or even great song. No new information though. All of it was Drake playing defense, and also the Mother Eye stuff where he misinterpreted the song, and then also where he talks about, there was one thing that he talked about. It was, basically like, I'm too famous to be doing pedo stuff. If I had been doing this all my life, I would have been caught by now. That just felt, obviously that's not we all know that response now sounds very dumb. But this is the state of rap beef. 3 Kendrick songs in the S tier, 1 Kendrick song in the A tier, 2 Drake songs in the B tier, 1 Kendrick song in the B tier. Then you have a Drake song in the C tier and a Drake song in the D tier. So that's it. This is how I have the songs ranked. Let me know your thoughts if you have any comments, and thanks for watching, guys.